Welcome to It's Not for Black Women Only. This is our first show, and we're happy that you're here with us. We're the National Council of Negro Women, Glendale, Burbank, Pasadena section, and my name is Wanda Dorn. Here with me today are members of the National Council of Negro Women from various parts of the Pasadena, Burbank, Glendale area. Now, what we would like to do is I'd like to introduce to our audience the members of the National Council of Negro Women who will bring you different segments of our show. We want to introduce, first of all, Elva Clay, who is educational producer.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon, Wanda. It's really a pleasure to be here today. I'm excited because the segment that I'm going to be responsible for will certainly deal with education. I'm really involved in educating our children. We bring our kids into this world and we put them out on the street long before they're ready to accept responsibility for themselves without knowing exactly what it is they want to do. I want to work with parents to teach them how to teach their children to get ready for school, to know that education is the key to getting anything and everywhere that they want to go. So I'm looking forward to putting this show on, and I'm looking forward to the types of guests that we can get and all of the wonderful ideas that can come through. And I really want our audience to get involved. So if they have ideas for shows that they would like to see and people that they would like to hear from and talk to, I'd like to hear from them.
Elva, what what areas of education are you going to be dealing with? Is it going to be for youth? Is it going to be scholarships? Or is it going to be just, basically tell us a little bit more about what?
Well, what I want to do is I want to talk about it all. Scholarships, I want to talk about the youth, I want to talk about the adults who are re-entering the workforce, I want to talk about the adults who are being laid off and need to enhance their skills so that they can get better jobs. I want to talk about the scholarships that are available. A lot of students don't have to go to college, they don't want to go to college. College is not for them. They need to know that there are different types of programs that are available for them, how to get funding for those programs, and there's information out there, but sometimes it's very difficult to pull it all together, and I want to pull it together and put it in one place so that they can have access to it.
And I understand you're going to be doing workshops.
Absolutely. We will do outside workshops outside of this particular show. We'll do workshops that will assist the parents and also assist the children. The other major thing that I want to do, and I want to see parents get involved with me on this, is talking to our merchants, because merchants are the ones who are going to teach our children to take over this world. We need apprenticeship programs. And we need programs where children can come out of school and they can know they can get a job and get on-the-job training, because that's the best training after all. It's much better than any college that I've ever seen. So those kids who don't want to go to college can still have a good job if they can get the adults in this world, to train them to take over for them.
Next, we have Jacqueline Jordan. She is our area of black women and religion, and she also told me it's not just black women in religion that she's interested in. Tell us a little more about it.
Well, though I'll be focusing on how the black woman has been very influential and been a very important part of Christianity throughout the years, from biblical times even to the present time, the emphasis is on seeking ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and then all of those things will be added unto you. And in the education of educating all people about God, and how when you do seek God first, then everything else will just fall right into place. And I think a lot of it is that we are not even aware of how influential black people have been in that area. That's where the strength has come from. Even during the slavery times, there was a communication through the spirituals that they used. The singing, that was a clue. That was a communication to the slave owners. The slaves, where the slave owners would not know what they were saying. So you see, and even in biblical times, black women, a lot of them were queens, and nowadays, the black woman is not so high on the pedestal, so to speak, but during those times they were. So I want to emphasize the religion aspect of everything, and we're communicating and educating in every way that we possibly can through the education and whatever topics we may have with the shows that we have, we can't forget God, because that's how our country was founded, on God. So that's what I'd like to communicate in the programs that we're having, how God has to come back to the center of our lives for us to even have anything. And I don't want to, though the focus will be the black woman, I don't want to necessarily just have the black woman. I want to show the spirituality in every aspect. This is a show not only for black women, but for everybody, so that we all can live together.
We're going to hear more about the education and the religion area of our show. We're going to talk to Carol Woods Thomas, who I know her as Carol Thomas. Stage name Carol Woods Thomas, that's why I hesitated a moment. And her area is black women and history of black women. Tell us more.
Okay, with me, I'm interested in the history of black women and the poetry, basically, of the black woman. And I found that the black woman is the backbone of a family. When it comes to a family, it's usually the black woman that is the backbone. I am from a large family of 10, and my mother was the backbone of the family. I'm not saying that my father didn't do his share. He was the breadwinner. Now, he brought the bread home and put it on the table. Mm-hmm. Mother did the preparations for it. And I know from experience that my mother was the backbone of the family. And out of the 10 of us, we were all successful because she instilled in us that education God was number one, and education. Without God and without an education, you get no place. And so nothing comes easy.
So your mother would think that we are on the right track then?
She definitely will.
I take it. Okay, Salani Holloway is our next associate producer here, or member of NCNW, and she is also going to be working closely with Corey. And first of all, I want to introduce Salani Holloway and tell us a little bit more about what area of fashion you're going to be dealing with.
Well, it will be different styles, so forth. Corey is a designer, and basically she designs all the clothes. What I will be focusing on basically is poise and posture, confidence, building a self-esteem for models and so forth. And fashion, for one, it's a fashion statement. And if you feel good about yourself and what you wear, it will show. You will just vibrate. You'll just be beautiful. And basically, we're going to get together and we're going to have fashion shows. And we will also like to know if there will be anyone interested in modeling for us, that we would also write us, call us, and we'll work with you. And we're willing to work with anyone. We have no pros or cons for anyone. We have all sizes, and we're just willing to work with anyone. And we just can't wait to get our shows on the road.
While I have the floor here, I'm going to give out the phone number so that if they want to get in touch with any member of the organization or have some ideas in that area of the expertise for one of the ladies, the number is 818-240-3714. 818-240-3714. And then next we have Corey Carey.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you. I am a designer, as Salani said, and we will be working closely together. My focus is mainly on the different shapes and sizes of all the different people in the world, not just women, not just black women, but all the different types and shapes and the wide variety that we have. We're focusing on how to show you, for your particular size or shape or height, what looks the best and what you'll be projected and received in the best manner. Our company that I work with is called Fashion Enterprise, and that means that we're not only a manufacturer, we're not only interested in producing clothes, but we're interested in the total garment, the total look. So it's not only limited to fashion, the clothing, but there's a history behind the fashion, and that's what we'll be bringing to you.
Thank you. Well, as you can see, we're going to have a variety of things. There are other areas that we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be dealing with in our future shows, we're going to be dealing also in area of skin care, health care for black women, for women, period. My area of expertise and my area of concern is the political arena. I'm really concerned about what is going on in the political area, particularly as it relates to women, as it relates to black women and black children. I want to talk about, we have our elections coming up this year, and issues that are placed on ballots. Most people don't know about them. They are not educated as to what those issues are and which way to vote and why should they vote in a certain manner that would protect their interests, who are the best candidates in the areas of their interests. And as NCNW cannot be a partisan organization, we can do workshops, we can do seminars, we can do candidates forums that deal with the different areas of politics. I also have, having spent 20 years in court as a court reporter, I want to deal with issues of law because divorce law and all types of other areas of law that black women need to know about. Then we also have a lady who's in nursing in healthcare. She wants to talk about women having to know to go to have the hospital on time. We have adoption areas that we need to deal with. We just have so many areas. And my other area of expertise is protocol and etiquette. I am had a modeling school for many years, so I think poise and etiquette is very important. Solani was talking about that in the areas of poise and how to deal with that. Tell us a little bit more about that, what you want to do in that area.
Well, I basically, a lot of young women these days really are not taught at least a young age on the basic etiquette, basically poise and posture, how to eat at a restaurant, which fork, salad fork, your dinner fork, and so forth. And I want to focus on that and teach the young girls that.
Well, see, Carol was talking about, you wanted to say something, go ahead.
Well, and I think a lot of that goes back to the family. You know, I remember once that someone said something about family values, and that wasn't a very popular thing that he said at that time. But it really was a very, very positive thing to say. We need to go back to the family, and because I remember when I was a little girl, my mother taught me how to dress. I didn't just wear anything to school. You know, she taught us what to wear and how we should act. And it goes back to the Bible as well. Solomon wrote the Proverbs so that we could learn how to act, learn how to live, learn how to treat each other. So all of it goes back to the family. And through this, I'm sure that we will communicate to those people who are viewing us and those young people who are viewing us to see, you know, and to be educated on how to dress and how to act and how to live and the education and how all of these things are important.
Yeah, and also, I wanted to also point out that for the viewers, you guys will really be able to see how it all connects. So that education is not only limited to going to school, filling out an application, and so on, but education is related to religion. Religion is not only limited to going to church, to attending church functions, to reading the Bible, but religion is related to politics and how it all is going to connect. So you're not going to just see one individual segment and it's not going to be related. It's all going to relate and it's all interrelated. And so that's just the main thing, that since the world is so small now, we can just reach somebody in a minute. We can fax and then be across the country in a few minutes.
That's right.
So everything is coming together and we're able to reach each other. And the main thing on this show that I can see that we all have in common is the fact that everything stems from a beginning and it just evolves and evolves, and it's up to each individual person to do whatever they want.
You know, our founder, Mary McLeod Bethune, had the right idea in mind because when she started, that's what she started doing, was educating young black women. She eventually founded the Bethune-Cookman College, but she started off teaching almost what Solani and I are talking about, all of us are talking about. With the school, she did education first during the day, and then at night, she would have etiquette classes, manner classes, and on Sunday she had ministry right there in her school.
And as I was doing my research about the black women as it relates to religion, she was one of the ones that I read a little bit about. And she had a solid foundation.
Absolutely.
She had a spiritual foundation. She had God in her life. And that's why she was able to excel to the degree that she did, because of her relationship with the Lord. And that's what just helped her to be that rock that rock and that strength that we as black women have a positive role model to look up to. And that was her spirituality.
Yeah. See, when you talk about positive role models to look up to, people when I do seminars and things, people often ask me who is my mentor. Well, I have to tell them the story about Queen Hatshepsut. She was the 16th dynasty, and what she was the wife of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh died, and as it was tradition in her time that Pharaoh's brother would she would have to marry Pharaoh's brother. So she did, and Pharaoh's brother happened to have been an infant, and she exiled him and ruled as the first Pharaoh, female Pharaoh, for 23 years. Now that's my mentor.
Well, I just wanted to add something to what each of you said. Education is the key in all of this. Education in religion, education in politics, education in fashion. Education is the key. And it is up to us, as in this generation, to teach the new generation. When I was coming along, we didn't wear fad clothes. That was just not done in my household. My mother did not allow it. If you wanted something faddish, then you didn't get anything if you didn't want to get what was supposed to be done. We wore uniforms to school, but we were able to get what we wanted to wear to church. But if it wasn't something that she agreed with, you just didn't get it. And we need to get back to that.
A little bit of it's like almost like the political rhetoric now, family values. But I would like to add that hate is not part of family values, and I need to get that across to some politicians. You see, I'm talking politics all. But one of the things that when you mentioned scholarships, I notice that many times, because the kids, there are scholarships that I know about out there. They're available to these kids, and some of them earmarked to minority kids, and some of them designed especially for black children, and they don't take advantage. The scholarships go back. They're not used.
Because they don't know about
that's
them.
right.
They're not aware. They don't know. And it's up to us to bring that information to them.
The parents.
The parents, we have a different world now. When I was coming along, we had at least one parent at home. Now, if there are two parents in the home, they're both at work. And the teachers are also family people, and they've got their families on their mind. So, and they're dealing with disciplinary problems. It's got to be really tough to go to school and worry about a gun.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
It's difficult for you as a teacher to go to.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that we have to do something, and it's going to take all of us to teach our children. Or our children are going to be lost if we don't do it, and we have to bring those values back. I teach a class at church on Sunday for the young women, and one of the classes that's coming up is on etiquette, how to set a table.
Absolutely.
Where the forks go, whether you use this, what type of dinner do you use certain silverware with?
Well, when I do this, when I'm out doing seminars and things, usually it's directed for women, but many times there are black men in the audience, and I have this very common complaint from black men is that black women don't have the etiquette that they should have, and that they are not comfortable with the black women's etiquette. So I think education, religion, all of that goes into, as we talked about, goes into one arena, but we do need to focus on, since this is a global society and we're moving into our own, many of us have our own businesses or have had our own businesses that are on this panel here, and we need to be able to go into the executive's office in London and China and know to bring the right gift. You don't take leather wallets to India, and those are the types of things that I like to deal with. I studied international protocol and etiquette in Washington, D.C., and so I want to convey some of that to us. So we all have such dimensions here to give, and this is just not all of National Council of Negro Women, those who are out there. We've got many others who have areas of expertise that are just as strong and powerful and as important as the ones we have here. But
also,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Also, too, as you were saying, and she was saying about education and religion, the way that the people can get educated is by coming together, becoming a member of a certain organization, or becoming involved in the community. isolate yourself and only get involved with your own family,
That's
your
right,
own
yeah.
activities.
That's
But
right.
the way to get the education is to come together
Yes.
like we are for now, and we're bringing the information forward. So maybe you can give the information if someone wants to find out how to become a member of the National Council
Absolutely.
for Negro Women. That's one way to start getting educated about what's going on around you, and so on.
It's funny that you just said that because I keep talking about the things that I've done. Which we all need to do is talk more about what we've done. But I wrote a book, and one of the things in the book I talked about is that every woman needs to be a member of an organization. And I was watching cable television, and Professor Torrey, who is a Pan-American Studies professor, who is African, they asked him, the audience, final questions, one of the final questions was, what can we do? He said, be a member of an organization. Yeah. Well, somebody says, well, the organizations, many times black organizations, they're not organized. They're not, there's so much competition, there's so much, but he says, I don't care. No organization is totally lost. Some organization, you get some information.
That's right.
You're networking, you're dealing with people, you're learning things. I find myself often going to seminars and workshops where absolutely no black people are there, maybe one in the audience getting that information. And that's why we're going to give that information out. If you all don't want to go to seminars and workshops, we're going to bring them to you. Is that what our focus
That's
is?
exactly
Yeah,
what our
that's
focus
exactly.
is. I absolutely insist on it. A few years ago, I had a business, and it was Career Finders and Associates. And our main focus at that time was, before all of the affirmative action stuff was coming along, was to work with women, especially women who were re-entering the workforce after raising a family, after their husbands died or left or whatever, and they needed to get out and get a job. They were scared, they didn't know where to begin, they didn't know what to do. And the first thing that I insisted that they do was to get into an organization. And that could be an organization like this, or get into a church and get into an organization in the church, but to become associated with others so that they could start to get information that they needed to move on. Because many of them, their self-esteem was gone, they felt worthless and useless, their kids were gone. And a husband doesn't have to, you don't have to get divorced to feel alone. Husbands die.
Absolutely.
And these women would be just lost. So we worked hard with them to get a lot of work done.
There are a lot of young people in the schools and or coming into the job field. I was a manager with Pacific Bell for 25 years, and there were some people that I trained that didn't even believe that they could do anything. Mm-hmm. And the Lord has made me an encourager of people, and I could say, you know, you can do anything you try to do. If that person can do it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And one girl said to me one time, she said, you really believe that, don't you, Jacqueline? She didn't even believe that herself.
That's right.
But me telling her, she said, you really believe that? I say, I know that. And the more, you see, it's not very easy for a person to join an organization who doesn't have any self-esteem. You know what I mean? Because they're afraid that they won't be able to talk to each other. They're afraid they might not even be able to have an input. But the more they learn that they can do, and that's what our job is,
That's
is
right.
to educate them and let them know that they can do. They can do all things through Christ who strengthens them, first of all. And then once they've gotten that inside of them, they know that they can do anything. And it's not so difficult for them to speak to other people.
And in one of the advantages of being a member of an organization such as the National Council of Negro Women, if you hear that title, national, that means that there is a network across the country that we can take advantage of. We have the president of our organization, Dr. Dorothy Height, who is an international woman. If we follow her legacy, the legacy of Mary McLeod Bethune, and follow the legacy of Dr. Height, we will all be international women. And to be an international woman, you need to be informed. And that's what we're going to be about. We're going to inform, we're going to teach, we're going to teach black women that there is a better way. And other women that want to come along with us, they can come along with us. You know, I mean, this is the day of the black woman as far as I'm concerned. We're going to make those changes. I always say that Mother the history that our mothers had, the agendas that our mothers had, which was to raise us, to get us to college, is not the agenda of today's black woman. Today's black woman's agenda is that international agenda. She is now she intermarries, she travels in her work, she has her own business, there are more black women with college degrees per capita than there are white males, so that says something about the black woman. And the world doesn't know this, but the world will find out because we're going to do it.
Absolutely. Our children need to know who their role models are.
Yeah.
It's really nice to open a history book and read about Mary McLeod Bethune and a lot of the other black women, but we need role models today.
That's right.
People that children can look to and say,
relate
oh
to.
yeah, I can do that.
Yes.
And what I want children to know is they don't have to believe that they can do it.
Okay.
I'll believe it for them
Yes.
until they can believe it for themselves.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I was going to say on the last note, you can do anything if you believe. If you take God's hand, then you will receive pure peace and love and calm. He will supply.
Yes, He will.
Courage and patience you cannot deny, but you have to see yourself perfect and whole every day, and don't let the negatives, no matter what they are,
That's right.
stand in the way. Believe in yourself and have strength to know, courage to endure, and ability
That's
to
right.
grow. And then far beyond this, that's when you're going to find that you can do anything if you believe. And that's what I tell myself every morning. You can do anything if you believe. And I just recite that over and over and
tell
over.
us why you know you can do it. What do you do?
The reason why I know I can do anything is because I started out with nothing, and I have a business. I'm a business owner now. We're talking somebody who started out with no money maybe 8 months ago.
Yeah,
And today
that's
I'm a
right.
business owner. So you can do anything if you believe, because I can do it. So I know anybody else, you can do it too.
And Carol, any final words?
Yes, I'm a strong believer of the family and the input of a family as a total. A family is the backbone and the support. You have the family backbone and the support at home, and there's a lot of families now. They're not really families. The children are raising the parents. I deal with them every day. The children are raising the parents.
Children are raising the parents, but we're going to raise all the women in America with the National Council of Negro Women's Not for Black Women Only program. And we thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time for the Not for Black Women Only program. Thank you all for coming and being here, and we look forward to the different programmings that you all are going to be doing. We're going to have a great time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.